And welcome everybody back to New Surge Live this week. A lot of stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling and the world of gaming we talk about too. But right now we're going to turn back to wrestling. On the phone with us, he is currently grocery shopping. And we have, if you watched Raw this past Monday, you saw his debut, as it were. We have James Ellsworth on the line with us. How are you doing, James?
I'm a little sore, but other than that, I'm good. How are
Oh,
you?
a little. I was gonna ask. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, man. How are you? I should be asking how are you. That looks stiff as hell, man.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's he's a big guy, with big hands and big arms and big legs and everything else that I saw was big. So
I don't wanna talk just about the WWE thing because I read on your Facebook page you're actually a owner slash promoter of Adrenaline Championship Wrestling up in Maryland. Is that correct?
yes, sir. Yeah, I run shows in Maryland and Pennsylvania. I'm a licensed promoter in both states, and yeah, I promote the shows all over the place in Maryland and Pennsylvania.
I go to a lot of indie shows in Carolina, and it's weird hearing the word license because in Carolina you don't need one. Um, how is it dealing with these athletic commissions around Maryland and Pennsylvania? Because I'm from Virginia, and we have a commission here, and they are tough as hell
Yeah.
to deal with here. What is your experience like as a promoter dealing with athletic commissions?
In Pennsylvania, they're okay. I mean, they don't generally mess with you too much. In Maryland, it's a pain in the ass. Like I can't say it any other way. It's a pain in the butt. Guys that work for the commission are real nice and everything. It's a pain in the butt. You got to go through a lot of loops and all, but it's okay. I deal with it, and I don't try to complain about it too much.
I must admit I did go on YouTube and watch a match as you when you're wrestling as Pretty Jimmy Dream against a guy named Skull. It's the first match. I just typed in Pretty Jimmy Dream, and that was the first match that came up. It was an older match, but I gotta say, man, you're people didn't get to see it Monday night, but you're a damn good worker.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was taught well, and I always keep my ears open and listen to advice on how to get better and how to improve my craft, and that's always the mindset I take into the wrestling business. So you gotta to be good at something, you gotta learn from the people who did it before you and did it well, and that's what I always done.
If I may ask, who trained you?
Axel Rotten,
Really? Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that had to be interesting to say the least. So you're probably used to taking stuff like what you got dished out on Monday night.
Well, I mean, believe it or not, well, I trained somewhere before him, but I can't give those guys any credit that trained before. Went to wrestling school for a year back in 2002 to 2003, and that school shut down. And the guys there, not all of them were bad guys, but they really weren't trying to teach us. It was kind of like they were just trying to bully us around, and always felt shafted, by that place. And they shut down in 2003. They're back in business now. I'm not going to say who they are, or nothing. I don't want to plug them. But I mean, 2003, I was on my own. Like, okay, I got a year of training. I know how to bump. I know how to hit the ropes. I didn't know how to work. I was never taught. I knew like just the basic, I learned my ABCs as they say, like hitting the ropes and bumping and selling and all that. But I didn't know how to work, so I was on my own. 2003, 18 years old, and I met Axel in 2006, and he just like completely turned it around for me as far as mindset about how to do a match and how to carry yourself in the locker room and all that stuff. He pretty much like saved me, taking me under his wing.
That happens a lot. I hear. A lot of wrestlers go through training somewhere, and it's one of these schools where give me $3,000 and we'll show you a little something while you go on. About while I think you hear many stories where give me $3,000 and you're going to do beer runs for me for a year and not even touch a ring. So I guess in a way, it's nice to that we have had people like Axel and that we have decent schools out there. Does Adrenaline Championship Wrestling, do they have a school at all, or are you just a basic promotion that just does shows?
We've been doing shows for a while now. We actually are in the process of opening up a school. We're hoping to open up in October, and we've been working on that pretty much through the whole summer. So we're very busy running shows. We run a lot of shows now, and but yeah, we're looking more into picking up a school and training people here in the Baltimore area.
Nice. I want to take it back to Monday night. Actually, I'll take it back to before Monday night. How did you get the call from WWE? Who called you, if you don't mind saying that? And how does this get proposed to you?
Well, I've been sending them stuff for years because they use there's extra talent at the TVs every week.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they get used or not, they're there every week. And I've been sending stuff forever, forever. 2014, I was the first time I actually got used. I was a Rosebud for Adam Rose a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
and, and that was my first TV experience with WWE. Was doing those, and I thought that was as far as it was going to go for me. Oh, okay, I got to be on TV and dancing with this guy in the ring. This is cool. And I mean, I still sent stuff since then, and finally, like last December, they had me up there. I didn't do anything, which you never get mad you do anything. Just the experience of being there is good enough, and
Mm-hmm.
and this time, this weekend, it just worked out for me. They have certain different people that email you every time, and from their talent relations office. Not anybody would know. It's just one of the people that work in the office will email you and say, "Hey, are you available for these dates?" And you just email them back and you go from there.
Nice. So did they tell you when they proposed this to you, when they said, "Hey, come on up to Pittsburgh"? Did they tell you that you were gonna be going against Strowman?
No, I didn't know I was going to be going against Strowman until 5 o'clock that evening.
And at 5 o'clock that evening, you look at you. They tell you, "Hey, man, you're gonna go out there, and he's basically gonna. I hate using this term with the person that was in the match, but he's pretty much gonna squash you." Do you pretty much know that you're in for a rough night?
Well, I mean, it doesn't so much go down like that. We get there around ringside, all the extras, and they asked us all to throw a punch, and I threw a punch, and Arn Anderson liked it, said not bad, and so he got me in the ring with Strowman. Like I didn't know what was going on at all. He just got me in the ring with Strowman. And he's like, "Now throw a punch on him," and I threw a punch on him, and he's like, "Not bad." He said, comfortable working him in a match tonight?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do whatever you need me to do." So we go over the match, and we went over everything that we did and all, and it went well in practice. And Strowman couldn't have been a nicer guy. He's a great guy. I have nothing but good things to say about him. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. The next thing I know, they're like, "Hey, let's hear you cut a promo real quick." And so I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "Just cut one on Strowman." And I just sat there and talked about Strowman for a minute in the promo, and I'm like, "All right, well, we're gonna give you 30 seconds on TV."
Wow.
And I was like, "Well, yeah, I didn't expect that. That part I did not expect at all. It was crazy. So very, very
And then
nerve-wracking at first."
the promo wasn't even against Strowman. It was pretty much the. A lot of people have messaged me and been like, that promo reminds me of the Mikey Whipwreck promo that he cut back in ECW, where he's just like, I have a fighting chance, but ultimately I'm gonna die out here, you know.
Yeah,
But
they, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that was just the promo on Strowman before the show was just practice. Like, just they wanted to see it, like if I could talk, I guess.
hmm
And yeah, like the promo they gave me for the match, the one you saw on TV, um, they gave me that, and then they asked me if I had any ideas, like any to put in there, and I had one idea, and that happened to work out great for me because everything he said was in the script. I said on there was in the script, other than the line where I said any man with two hands has a fighting chance. That was something I came up with, and I pitched to them, and they liked it and let me do it. So that was very cool of them to let me do that.
I was gonna say this, and this is taking off for you. So the match happens. The commentators are pretty much like obviously not giving you a chance at all, you know, and afterwards, I gotta say that you're the star of the match. Braun Strowman is pretty much an afterthought at this point. Here we are, 3 days removed from it, and you are everywhere. In fact, I saw a meme today that quote unquote Sunny Boy posted. Um, I think it's the WrestleMania 29 poster with The Rock and Cena
Yeah.
charging at each other, and his head is on Rock's head, and your head's on Cena. It's like the most craziest thing I've ever seen. What?
Yeah, I did not expect any of that. Yeah.
So it's like you're Braun. I mean, they did the match to get Braun Strowman over, and you're the one that got over. How is any? I have to ask this. Obviously, I don't know if you probably have heard anything, but any other word from them after the match about you coming back in for anything else?
Well, yeah, there's some possibilities lined up. Nothing like edged in stone yet, but after the match, I expected literally after it was over with, I expected to roll, go to the back and get my dress clothes back on, get something to eat, and thank Braun Strowman for the match and leave. And I did expect like friends and family on Facebook and social media to write me and say, hey man, I saw you cool. I did not expect all the memes and all the like, say, man, that speech was inspirational. I did not expect any of that at all. But yeah, going back to if WWE's asked me back, they have emailed me and asked me if I would be interested in coming back. They didn't say when or whatever, and I wrote back, absolutely, of course, whenever you need me, just write me and I'll be there. So we'll see what happens. Right now, nothing etched in stone at all.
It's like
But we'll
it's
see what
like
happens.
what did they expect you to say? No, not if you're going to put me in the ring with him again. Come on, of course you're interested.
Right,
um,
it's my dream, yeah. So.
I'm not. When you see this interview, I'm going to link it on my Facebook page, and you're friends with me on Facebook, so you'll probably see it too. Um, I got a picture of you as Jimmy Dream, pretty Jimmy Dream, on the corner with a hairspray. I'm assuming it's hairspray in his hand, and above that, it's you as James Ellsworth. And you had this meme on your Facebook page, so I went ahead and snagged it. It's you next to this turtle, and it's the funniest one out of the bunch. What has been
I
your
love I love them all, even the ones that are trying to like. I mean, they're all making fun of me, I guess, but I mean, I love it. Like I doesn't bother me a bit. I smile every time I see it. I'm just glad it's happening. I'm a pretty laid back, humble guy, and like for me to have any kind of popularity, just really just it's humbling, and I just smile at it, even if even if it's bad humor, people are trying to make fun of me. I just smile and shake my head and I share everything. The one with the turtles, probably that's one of my favorites too. I can't say which one's my favorite because I'm happy that they're all happening. But there's one of the turtle that's cute. I did like that one.
So are you gonna still perform as pretty Jimmy Dream, or are you strictly James Ellsworth? Are you gonna go out there on the indie scene and do both?
Um, right now I'm gonna see what happens with the. I don't have like a 100% answer right now. I'll see what's gonna happen with the James Ellsworth thing. I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never been put in this position before where there's some kind of buzz. Like, it's real new to me. I don't really know it. Like,
Right.
so I mean, I'm just gonna ride it for now and see where it takes me. And if not, I've always liked doing a pretty Jimmy Dream character. My tag partner's Adam Ugly, and together we're pretty ugly, which it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because we're both not like handsome looking men. So our tag name's Pretty Ugly, and I go out there and I act like I'm pretty, but the whole gimmick is I'm not. So it's funny when I come out there and I'm like, oh, I'm the prettiest thing, and you look at me and you're like, what are you talking about? And that's the heat. So
um,
you know.
I did see a promo of you and your tag partner and in a bathroom, and s- I gotta ask about that promo. Did the person 5 minutes or 5 seconds into the promo, somebody walks into the bathroom is like, "Hey, I gotta take a crap" or whatever? Was that planned, or did some just random fan walk in,
It
or?
was absolutely not planned. That was it. That was just a fan that was at the show. That was, and we just kept rolling. We had fun, man. Wrestling. Yeah, I think a lot of the guys on the indies, like I've been wrestling 14 years since 2002,
Mm-hmm.
since I was 17 years old, and on the indies, and like I think a lot of guys on the indies, they just forgot that when you sign up, it's like the first thing you want to do is have fun. I mean, we're not gonna. Nobody on this earth is going to be able to do this forever. Like you
Right.
don't know when your bum card's up and you can't wrestle anymore, so have fun with it. So like a lot of guys, they just take it all seriously, and not that it's bad to be serious. Like you want to take it seriously and be good at it, but to have fun at it, and that's what we try to do. Like that, is we just try to have a good time at it.
For those folks who are just receiving a link to this podcast or whatever, you are listening to New Search Live. We have Pretty Jimmy Dream, aka James Ellsworth, on the New Surge Live line. You can follow him on Twitter at PJ Jimmy Dream. Um, I'm assuming we and you were already friends by happenstance on Facebook. I'm assuming your Facebook friends limit has already been reached.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the friends limit was like it's like at 4,900, but I mean nobody can send me a request right now. It's like unable to, which sucks. So I'm probably gonna make a like page, maybe possibly tonight, so everybody can go and like a fan page and everybody can go like that. So I'm gonna do that tonight
And
so I can get more people to like it.
for anybody who goes on Twitter and looks at PJ Jimmy Dream, the cover photo is Strowman with his hand around Jimmy's neck, and Jimmy just looks like almost like a ventriloquist dummy. It's just so awesome. I mean, who came up with the name James Ellsworth? Was that the writers? Did you come up with that? I mean, obviously you can't go into a squash match with Braun Strowman and use Pretty Jimmy Dream. It just wouldn't, it wouldn't look too
Right.
convincing to the character. But
Yeah, they came in. They said, "Hey, what do you want to be called tonight?" I was like, "Well, I know you're not going to use my wrestling name." They're like, "Well, it is." I said, "Well, it's Jimmy Dream. I just know you're not going to use it." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we can't use that." They're like, "Do you have any ideas?" I said, "Well, my first real name is James, and my middle name is Ellsworth. I always thought that would be like a funny little name, James Ellsworth." And the writer just smiled at me. He's like, "Yeah, we'll go with that." I was like, "Cool." So it's really is my first real name and my
wow.
middle name.
No offense to
So.
you, but it's like you played that part so well. It's just the I mean, when you compare yourself against Strowman, you're like this short, skinny, scrawny guy, and the name just fits that, man. I mean, it's so awesome. If it were me in your position, I'd be taking it and running with it. I see that you already had a design for a T-shirt made, and I read on Facebook there's 8x10s coming. Go ahead and plug your merch, man.
Yeah, I like again, I literally like thought I was gonna just roll out of the ring and fade away, and I didn't plan on making merchandise and all that, but with the social media going crazy like it has, I was like, well, might as well give it a try, and so I just wrote a Facebook status about, hey, does anybody want a T-shirt? And if you're interested, I'll make them. And I got so many people, inboxing me and wanting them, so I was like, all right, and so I got a guy, he's making them right now as we speak. So that's happening. And then the 8x10s I just got. They're actually in my car right now. Like I told you, I'm at the grocery store grocery shopping for my family. But I do have the 8x10s already. And if you just go on Facebook, find me on Facebook, James Ellsworth. If you're not my friend, you can message me. Just message me on there, and I'll give you my PayPal account, and PayPal the money over, and send me where to send a picture, and I'm going to be sending them out as of tomorrow. So.
How about that? James Ellsworth comes on New Search Live and he's setting up his gimmick table for you folks. That's awesome. um,
Yeah.
did you get to meet Vince? And if so, what is he like?
Oh man, yeah. I've been there numerous times, and
Right, right.
Vince like never really get to talk to him or see him because like he'll walk by real quick. He's so busy, but like again, it goes back to I just thought I was gonna roll out the ring and that was gonna be it for me. Um, I go to the back after the match, and I'm waiting on Strowman, to thank him and everything. And Arn Anderson, who was the agent for our match, came up to me and he thanked me for doing a really good job. And he said, "Hey, Vince wants to see you at Gorilla." And I was like, "Really?" And so I went to Gorilla, and I was like, "Hey, they said Vince wanted to see me." He's like, "Yeah, he does. Go." So I went up, and Vince came right over to me and smiled. And he said, "Very good job, young man. You were very entertaining.
Wow.
Thank you very much." And I said, that means the world. World. What am I trying to say? World. That's what I'm trying to say. What in the world am I trying to say? I'm trying to say world. I was like, that means the world to me, sir. I appreciate that. And he said, and he said, thank you again. And that was the first time I've ever talked to him or shook his hand or anything. It was really, really cool. I mean, I never in a million years thought that would happen. And it was very, very humbling, to say the least.
There are people. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up right here because I don't want to distract you too much from your shopping and your family and everything. I want to thank you for taking the time, man. I know you've been probably super busy since all this happened, and we're not the biggest podcast in the world, so I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Um, there's a lot of people out there saying that they need to sign you to NXT or this cruiserweight division that they're having coming up, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. I enjoyed your work Monday night. I enjoyed the stuff that I found on YouTube. Um, One more time, if you want to, plug anything you want to. The floor is yours for as long as you want it. If you want to plug Adrenaline Wrestling, your merchandise again, your Twitter, Facebook, please feel free. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, just visit my promotion at adrenalinewrestling.com. Once again, that's adrenalinewrestling.com. You can find me on Instagram at James Ellsworth. You can find me on Twitter, James Ellsworth at PJimmyDream. You can find me on Facebook under the name James Ellsworth. And hopefully I'll have a liked page tonight that you can find me on as well. Other than that, I just want to thank everybody that may be listening to this podcast for all the love and support. I truly appreciate it.
Well, you got my support, man. I hope they sign you. I really do. I enjoyed
Uh,
your work. Um, it's amazing how everything was pretty Jimmy Dream, and over the course of 3 days, all of his social media folks is James Ellsworth now. So
Yeah,
it's definitely taken off.
wrestling is a different. Wrestling's different than any other entertainment.
Oh
It
man,
really, really is.
that's
So,
for sure. And I enjoy talking to wrestlers like you guys and workers like you guys. And I agree with Vince. I was entertained by you Monday night. Bronch. I mean, as soon as Monday night happened, as soon as that match happened, I put on Facebook, sign James Ellsworth right now because the dude can work. He could sell. And are you doing? I have to ask this before we let you go. Are you doing Jericho's podcast? Has anything been concrete on that?
I. It looks like it. He he sent out the tweet that he sent out, and then he actually I'll tell this story real quick before you let me
Sure,
out
go
because
ahead.
it's a good story. So when I was driving home from not home, we went to Buffalo the next day for SmackDown. I was there for SmackDown the next day.
Mhm.
And when I was driving, I get a call, and the referee from WWE that I know, just friends with. I was friends with him since the Indies. He said, "Hey, Jericho wants to talk to you." And I said, "He does?" He's like, "Yeah, hold on." So he put Jericho on the phone, and
Wow.
Jericho said, "Hey, man, I just wanted to tell you, good job. You did very good." I said, "Thanks, man. It means a lot coming from you." He said, "Yeah, you got more interview time than I did tonight, fucker." I started laughing. I started laughing. I said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I don't write the show." And he just laughed. He said, "Look, I'm going to tweet you tomorrow. I want to have you on my podcast." I said, anytime, of course. And so and then when we hung up, I was thinking, he's not going to tweet me tomorrow. And he did, he was a
Mhm.
man of his word. And so, yeah, it appears that I will be on his podcast. I do not know when. I'm guessing probably next week. It's just a guess, but I do think I will be on it. And in closing, anybody out there that has a dream, I mean, I'm 31 years old, been wrestling since I was 17, been watching wrestling since I was 3, 4 years old, since I can remember. So, if you have a dream and you want to chase it, any man with two hands has a fighting chance.
And on that, we're going to head to a little bit of a break. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about Sega and Nintendo. The console wars seem to be back. We're going to explain it all. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us, folks. You're listening to New Search Live. We'll be right back.